Well, season's greetings and salutations, everyone. It's our Christmas special. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How
hello.
Are you all?
Oh, we're here.
I'm
It's
great.
Christmas.
It is. It's Christmas.
It does not get better. The carols are playing, baby, it's hot outside. It's just fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, look, this is a brand new for some of our Instagram followers, because we don't normally do the Let's Talk Board Game live to Instagram. So for anyone that's on and watching on Instagram right now, hello. Please do check out the website doalg.co.uk and check out the actual live feed for YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. We are live streaming to all three platforms, as well as, of course, Instagram. I will keep an eye on the Instagram feed as we're going along today for anyone who doesn't join on the other platforms, in case there are any questions. But we've got a couple of people with us right now already. We've already got Board Gaming with Iogany, and an Emotional Cyborg has also joined us. So greetings. And we'll carry on with the rest of the show. Well, how are you all? Because I know, Julian, bless you, you've been a little bit accidental and had a few injuries. George, you've been just unlucky.
I don't know, drinking myself into gout. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that, but that's fine. You mentioned it. And we have our amazing special guest, which is Powell. And he is here going to be talking to us from Nemesis Games about one of their Kickstarters that literally has just been delivered not that long ago. There we go. There it is on screen, everyone. Curse of the Last Emperor. We've actually been playing it. He's actually an active member on our Discord channel, so you may have already met him as Panic. But it's nice to have you live on the show. Welcome.
It's great to be here. I'm super excited.
No, it's good. It's good. We've been toying with the idea of getting you on a stream for a little while, and now we've finally got you here. It's brilliant, wonderful.
It's the best time. We're just so overwhelmed with all the responses right now. All the people getting their boxes. Literally today, actually, Cornelius got his box. I don't even have my box yet. It's gonna be here in like 4 days, but people are super happy.
Right. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. I'm going to switch out my audio because I just realized that there are going to be people here listening on Instagram and probably can't hear what's going on. So I'm going to remind people on Instagram that you need to move across to our YouTube channel or Instagram or Facebook or anything else so you can listen along. Or you'll just hear me and not everyone else that's on screen. Because let's face it, it'll be a very one-sided conversation you hearing me chatting along.
Well, I don't know.
It's no different to most episodes, really.
But we haven't been on an episode together yet, Julian. And I can imagine, it could be interesting.
Yes.
Yes. So, right. So, what the main thing that we're obviously going to be talking, is about, of course, about Uprising. But I'm also going to be want to really highlight what's kind of been everyone's kind of experiences of 2021, because let's face it, it's not been the nicest of year for lots of people. We ourselves here at Diary of a Lincoln Geek have felt the pinch, not being able to get together and play games together trying to figure out ways of doing it remotely. And of course, it's been a bonkers year for Kickstarters and board games in general. And I certainly think that while it's been a positive thing for board games, it's also been a positive impact for solo board games or games with solo modes. What's your thoughts on 2021, really, to be honest?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's been pretty tough. I think I've only really played one new game to me personally, which was Rising Sun, which is a great game. No, that's not true. I actually played a few, which we kind of disguised as a business trip. We went to Turkey for a week and played a bunch of board games. But
all good research. Good research.
Very good research, yeah. But they weren't quite as good as we hoped they would be. I'm not going to name names, but they weren't quite as exciting. So really only Rising Sun
is anything as exciting as Uprising Curse of the Last Emperor?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so.
Well played, George. I don't think anybody would have noticed the seamless way you put that in there. No, but turkeys are fantastic. So, as an Australian, so for those who obviously knew the podcast, my accent probably gives me away. The idea of going anywhere is like 9 hours on a plane. So when I hear, I just popped over to Turkey to play some board games, to me, this just blows my mind.
Well, this is actually not just a random location that we picked. It's because one of our team members, Dirk, is living in Turkey. And this is also the reason why we have such a strong tabletop simulator mod, because we're basically just about done with the game when the pandemic hit, and then we couldn't come and see each other to finish the development. So we got a friend of ours or a fan of ours to start the TTS mod for us, which then I basically took over. But honestly, without him, we probably wouldn't have started it at all, and without the pandemic, and we wouldn't have had a TTS mod. And it's been such a good tool for development and just marketing and reaching people. It's insane. I can only really recommend anyone who's interested into board games to get into TTS as well.
Yeah, and I look at the few silver linings of COVID, and trust me, there aren't that many. But TTS has been one of them. Like how that tool has grown and expanded and been accepted not just by community but by developers and by publishers over the last, I hate saying 3 years because that's how long we've been in this mess. But it's been astounding, because it used to be the only thing that was on TTS was kind of these kind of underground mods that people would try and sneak in. And
they weren't very good either.
No, they were atrocious. So it's awesome seeing that acceptance and growth. And do you see yourself still using TTS moving forward? Now that hopefully things
for sure. 100%. Yeah. I mean, maybe not for the initial prototyping, when you're like maybe sitting together for a week and you like do the very bare bones stuff, you do it on paper.
It's all over
but
the
I
walls,
think but I think as soon as you move on to like the next step, you just take it to TTS. Because it saves so much money and time. Like just building one prototype of Uprising used to cost like 200 euros plus like about 20 man hours of work to like cut everything and put it together.
That is a crazy amount.
Just put it in TTS and you want to change something, it takes 2 minminutes.
To be fair, when you look at just how much stuff there is, it's not really surprising.
Well, but we just changed the cards, right? Just changing the cards was taking like 3 days and then cutting everything. And we didn't change the standees, right? We were just using the same standees forever.
Well, again, you can't say the word 4X and not think of large amounts of cardboard and pieces. Yeah, otherwise you're just not doing it right. I'm sorry. Look, here is the new Twilight Imperium 5 with 30% less pieces. It's just not going to run.
No, it's not. It's not going to cut it, is it? No. And very quickly, if anyone who is watching live and you have any questions for our guest Powell as we're coming along, please obviously do pop them in the chat, and we'll get them on screen, and hopefully we'll get them answered as we're talking along. It's quite important that obviously that we all remember that we've got people out there on internet land that like these games, because let's face it, without Tabletop Simulator, that you wouldn't have the community that we have right now. To be completely honest, in my opinion, it's kept people sane. I know fellow founder Dan has absolutely made the frog leap from computer-based games to board games, and then of course this hit, and then it's gone to electronic board games.
Well, you're saying it's helped sanity. I have heard about your late-night Battlestar Galactica games, and I have not heard the word sanity used very often in those descriptions.
So, how much did he pay you to mention that game?
I was going to say, we're going to have to extend the hashtag swear jar to everyone now.
Let's move back to Paul. I was just very keen. We actually just talked very briefly before we hit record, but I kind of want to bring it back into the live conversation. Because said, congrats on getting it delivered. But we all know getting anything delivered at the moment is mental. I mentioned, it's Christmas Eve here in Australia, and about a third of my Christmas presents still haven't arrived. But as a publisher, a developer trying to get your games out, what was it like, and how's your community supporting you through that?
So I'm very lucky in that I don't really have that much to do with the business side of things. That's my two friends, Dirk and Cornelius, who take care of most of that, but also are a fantastic logistics partner. Quartermaster Logistics, who just did absolutely everything they could to get it done as quickly as possible. But also the great community that we have. They're just so generous. We asked them, like, look, guys, we can't afford it. We need about 50,000. If you donate at least, I think it was $20 or $25, you get a blessings pack, like an addition to the game. Yeah, we just happen to have around because we're always working on more stuff, obviously, so we can just pull from that stuff and just make some magic happen. And they actually managed to donate 35,000 in like a week or 10 days or something. Ridiculous amount. We couldn't be happier with the community. We still had to pay a little bit out of pocket, but it's not that big of a deal compared to
the community will
50,000.
band together. It's a paraphrase a film. You ask, they will come. They will come. Yeah. They will come along and they will muster and back. They've already expressed the interest in your game. You're honest with the community. That they will do it, and that's one of the key things with this. And I think we've all seen different experiences of Kickstarter and lots of different games who have gone, yes, we're being backed, but it's not being backed as well. We're gonna pull it because with the the costs that are going with the pandemic, companies have had to make that call. They have pulled their games from Kickstarter and gone, we're gonna have to run it at a later date. Would you do
it really sucks, but I absolutely understand. Yeah, it's as I said previously, we barely just like broke even, not entirely exactly. So if we had like a lot of people to pay, if we were like a real company that paid people, then we just couldn't afford it. We just have to abort the thing. It's just not possible. This is really only made possible because we're just doing this as a side project, basically, while we're just doing our main jobs. Otherwise, this would not have been possible, especially not like for 5 years, and just investing so much money back into the game and make the components just shine all the way to the top and stuff. Was really important for us, but especially for Dirk to, everybody get the game, open it up, and just go like, wow, this is amazing. And I think we just pulled it off.
Well, I'm really keen now to change the subject because I've just realised I mentioned the C word twice already, and the only C word allowed in today's podcast should be Christmas. So tell us about, because obviously I haven't played it, I need to be honest, but I was obviously reading through it in preparation for today. A cooperative fantasy 4X. Sum this up for us. How did you come up with this? Because I haven't seen anything else like this before.
There is nothing like it as far as I know. There's a couple cooperative like 2x games or maybe some 4x games that are cooperative that are coming up. But I mean, 4x cooperative is just a mechanical way of telling you what it is, but it's not necessarily telling you how it plays. I think the most concise way to describe it is it's like a crunchy mini D&D adventure that you play in 4 hours instead of like 2 years. Like that's you just condense a D&D adventure into like 4 hours. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, so I know you gave us some of us lovely folk on the Discord channel a lovely little guided tour through TTS over about 4 sessions in the in the evenings, and it was amazing. I loved every minute of it, and I say it's just
there's so much randomness that can happen.
It's crazy. I feel like we only scratched the surface during that, and we were barely knew what we were doing. And I think if I knew what I was doing with it, I'd love it even more.
That's the one thing I love about it. There's so much to discover, just so many interactions. Like sometimes I'm still sitting there after playing thousands of games. I've played at least 1,000 games of it, right? And I look at something that's coming up, and I'm like, if I combine this with this, then I can do this, and amazing, right? And this is really the feeling that we were going for, that people hopefully have as well. I've heard from a few of our backers, the Greg, our biggest fan, probably has just been describing it so beautifully. He really, I think, after playing it like 30 times now, he really gets what we were trying to do. And I just love that we have just even if it's only a few people right now, they really get what we were trying to do with the whole system.
Well, I was looking at BGG. You're already up to 8.6 as the rating scale, which is awesome for a new game, especially one of the complexity of yours. So again, congrats. People are obviously enjoying it, and I now have the FOMO of, damn, there's another one I haven't backed that I probably should have.
and these reviews on your site says it. Let's face it, must buy, game of the year, 10,
Yeah, and these were all from playtesters, and the playtest version wasn't actually as good as the final version. So these are a bit nicer to us than they should have been, to be honest. The playtest version wasn't quite as nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've brought the website up for people so they can see that the quality of the artwork is just phenomenal. And for anyone who knows me, knows I'm a very visual kind of person. And when you've got lovely artwork and visuals, it draws me in. And obviously, it's a key component with a board game, particularly with a flourishing theme like yours, because you'd really deep dive into the lore that you've created. How long did you guys spend doing all this?
About 5 years, but
5 years in total.
It's been quite a journey. I mean, the first version we played somewhere in the north of Germany in a weekend retreat, and I think that version played for like 16 hours or something. It had like 12 chapters, and you had to move your figurines from the main map to a battle map every time. That it had to be like a specific map that matched the map and stuff. It was just so horrible. It was still really fun, but you can't sell anyone a game that takes like 16 hours to complete. That's complete nonsense.
It's
D&D have been doing it for generations.
Yeah.
But to point, mate, I hate D&D for that very reason. So a question I was asking is, you say it's been 5 years. How long did it take for you to get the concept into a playable state? And then how much of it has it been trying to finesse it and actually just get it properly working? What would you say the difference between those two stages?
I don't even really properly remember. It's all a bit blurry, but I would say about one and a half years, I would say, before it became like a recognizable version that's like still recognizable today. It still didn't have many of the fine tunings, right? Back then it was still a versus game, for example. So first player would pick where the hordes and stuff would go. But since it was a versus game, you would just always or no, not first player. Actually, last player in victory points would pick where everything would go, and then as soon as you became first player, everybody else was just like putting 10 hordes next to you, and you would just die. And that is also very funny. It's also very funny for like 3 games, and then you just get annoyed to hell. So then we stopped it, and eventually we turned it into a cooperative game, which is just much more relaxing in the end.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I mean, who did all the artwork? 'Cause the artwork's really great.
Dirk is completely responsible for the artwork, the iconography, design. But we had 2 artists, Igor and Bartek. One of them did the like all the postures and all of that, and then the other redrew it in his own style. So that's like combination of 2 or even 3 different people.
And I need to ask a favor, Chris. Can I get you to scroll back on that left 3? Just you went. Just go back 3 because I think I saw one of my favorite characters. One more. There we go. You can always spot a fantasy space lion. It's critical for every one of these games. So
Hokan?
Yeah.
Shadow Strider.
Yes, that's also very inspired by Twilight Imperium for sure.
So where did your inspirations come from? Like, there's a great segue because I am seeing quite a few inspirations here from various things. What do you think would have been the biggest ones for you as you were designing?
So the world was actually thought up by Dirk when he was like 18 and dungeon master for D&D as well. The inspirations, I don't really know where all the inspirations came from. I mean, I can maybe say how the expansion factions came together because I did most of the work for them. Basically, Dirk told me, "All right, make a cow faction, make a turtle faction," and then I started working on the mechanics for the Tuatan. And they need to be slow, right? Turtles, and so they need to be a bit defensive. And then this all kind of went from there. Yutuma, a cow faction with pigs, super funny, just to picture it. How do you make them unique? And then we just gave them the only way for any of the factions to have more than the maximum amount of units on one hex. So everyone else can only have 5 units on one hex, and they can have up to 11 units on one hex. So they just like this big herd that runs across the plains and just, destroys everything in its path.
Oh.
And same with the Hokan. We just kind of wanted them to be territorial cats because that's what cats do, right? They're just territorial. So,
well, that and they're insane
kind
murder animals. But apart from those 2 things,
and they are in the game too. Yeah, they're literally the best at killing stuff in the game. They're just very active. You flip your feeds constantly, and you're just being active and jumping around and stuff. I think we did a pretty decent job of conveying it through the feeds. It might take people still a couple more weeks to like fully understand how to play everybody, because it certainly took us several months, to.
But I take it the counter to all their abilities is shiny things. Right, you just have to make sure you show shiny things, and then you'll just be able to distract them. And there we go. I like this already. This is going to work well. This is, by the way, why I'm not a game designer. For everybody who's listening,
Well, Sui's got a question. That's all right. Sui's got a question, and it's up on screen at the moment. What would be your number 1 tip for anyone looking to create a game for retail? It's a good question.
That's a good question. The thing is, if you actually want to sell a lot of games, you probably want to make it not so complicated, probably a little bit lighter on the mechanics, with like a cute theme. Think Wingspan, So that's if you really want to sell things. But then you also have to make it not just totally forgettable. So
yeah.
I don't know. We're not exactly sold a lot of copies. Enough.
Well, look. For anyone that is watching the show, we get a lot of rewatch back. Are you going to have any copies available to sell direct on the site once you've sorted all your Kickstarters out?
Yes, but we don't know how many just yet. It's gonna take us another maybe 2-3 weeks before we know, because
That's fine. So well into 2022.
Yeah.
CJR, no need to have FOMO. You can get your copy.
Yeah.
But
So you
even
can
so, it's gonna be a low number, maybe like low 3 digits, maybe even only 2 digits. So we don't have a ton of stock.
So the FOMO is still there. Get your late pledges in quickly, people. There we go.
Well, can you still late pledge? That's the question. If people
No, you can't. No.
no, it's too late to late pledge.
There's gonna be a different way to acquire those boxes. We haven't even talked about it. How we gonna sell those? So I have no idea. I assume we're gonna have a shop of some kind. I honestly don't know.
Watch the space and we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, well, we will. We'll keep you updated. And if you're a retailer out there that are interested in maybe getting those last few copies, drop him a line.
I don't actually think we'll have enough boxes for any retails.
What if they wanted to do another? If someone was interested in doing a print run for you, if you had enough interest, would you do another print run?
I mean, yes, definitely. I think it's warranted that we make another one, especially since anyone who knows anything about Kickstarter knows that if you have one mildly successful Kickstarter, even, you're gonna have a second one eventually. So that's something people can pretty much expect at some point. We just don't have any timelines or anything of the sort right now.
That's fine. We're not gonna pin you down and beat it out of you, but don't worry.
Yeah.
At least not.
I mean, as soon as we can possibly put one together, we're gonna put one together. But when that's gonna be, we don't know.
So I remember the question I was going to ask before. Now, what is it that made you want to create your own game? There are obviously hundreds of games already out there. Some might say more, but we're limited down here in Australia. We just discovered Monopoly. All the international viewers are going to hang me right now for playing stereotypes. Now, what was it that made you go, no, there's a gap here, there's something that's missing? What led you down to that path?
It's literally just wanting to play a game that doesn't exist, I think, and a game that you would want to play. And there's just nothing. I mean, let's be honest. Like, all the 4X games that exist are kind of like Versus, and I think the worst offender of that is Twilight Imperium, where if you just get knocked out early, you're just gonna have a bad time for 6 hours, right? It's like it's not fun. And so I think we wanted to make something that's a big game, but that's maybe a little bit more compatible with like playing a long game for everybody, because it's not fun when one person isn't having fun. That's not fun. Just looking at somebody just going like on their phone for 2 hours sucks.
Yeah. I have been that person. I was playing a Twilight game, and the game probably ran for about 8 hours, but 3.5 hours in, I was toast. That was it.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy that. Yeah. And this is the exact reason why we changed it from a versus game to a co-op game eventually, because not only was it exhausting to hate the other people so much, it just also wasn't fun. Eventually, it just stopped being fun after like 3 or 4 games. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, I
fun. Yeah. Go on, Chris.
Yeah, well, fun's important. I mean, I'm one of these players that likes a deck builder and a cooperative based game, purely because, I'll be honest, I'm not the best at strategy games. I play games because I enjoy to play games. Winning is a bonus. Now there'll be some in our community and some people who are fans of our channel like to win, and that's fine. I'm not mentioning anything Bohemian. But our friend, he loves to win. He loves all of that. But myself, I really genuinely am just I'm a gamer. I'm a social gamer, and it's an important aspect. And when you've developed a game like you have, in order to encompass that experience, is a win-win in my eyes. So, and you've done that.
I've also heard from a lot of people that it's the most fun game to lose at, to just be crushed by random nonsense. People are having such a blast just being crushed by the Empire and Chaos.
I would say that was the way it was going for us for most of our game until the last round.
Well, Sui wants to know the player count, and is there a solo mode?
It's 2 to 4 players usually. If you want to play solo mode, you play double-handed, so you have to play 2 factions. There's potentially a way to play it completely solo, but we haven't really done any testing on that, so I don't know if that works. But playing 2 factions is actually quite fun, and you get to learn the factions quicker than if you were only playing one of them.
Excellent. Makes sense. I've done something similar with Lords of Waterdeep when I've controlled 2 lords against 2 other people. So you've all had multiple lords, but you can't do that solo, which is a damn shame.
I think my favorite mode to play is actually Double Dragon, so 2 players with 2 factions each, because you get to actually do some really good teamwork plays, with yourself. Whereas with 4 people, it's very difficult to kind of make the good cooperative plays. Like communication problems and timing problems, and it's like, oh no, I wanted you to do this. Why did you do this? And like, my plan is ruined. And if you play with only 2 people, it's a lot easier to get those cool plays off the ground.
Hey, no communication and bad timing. You've just described my entire Jaws of the Lion campaign. Just been nothing but, why'd you go so early? You said you were going late. Anyway, that's...
yeah, man. That's the one thing about this game, right? Where you're like, I'm going to play my biggest card. Oh, it's wasted.
Well, and your rules around table talk, like obviously Jaws of the Lion, you're meant to keep, well, for those who haven't played, this is Gloomhaven's kind of mini version, and you're not meant to communicate openly exactly what you're going to do. So you can allude, okay, I'm going to do something really aggressive late. With yours, you said you're cooperative. So is it full open table talk? Is it a bit like Gloomhaven where you're trying to allude? Yeah.
It's completely open information too. Everybody knows what everybody has in their hand. It's just that for people who are not very experienced, it's probably not going to help you knowing what the other person has, because you don't know what their possibilities are or what their plans are. So you have to talk about that a lot. Once you get a bit more used to the game, it's a little easier to see. But yeah, definitely making plans is very important in this game. Just like, okay, I want you to not explore right now, because if this comes up, then this happens, and then I can't do this. So could you just do something else for one turn, right? Stuff like that is super important. Or like, oh, could you not buy this item from the market because I really need this one to do this specific thing right now? And then if people don't communicate, mayhem breaks out and everybody just loses because you're not getting the things that you need.
And did that work in your campaign, George, or did you just do the full Leroy Jenkins and just bolt into rooms?
No, we have a good amount of cooperation. Sorry, we did have a good amount of cooperation for most of the game. I think there were a couple of moments where it's we're still playing cooperative. It's a cooperative 4X. I know you want to expand everywhere, Mr. Damnface. That doesn't mean you should just go in and jump over all of Pete's sectors that have just been wiped out by the Horde.
It's also very weird to fight a combat and not immediately put another territory down, right? In our case, it's called Haven, because sometimes you're like, oh, this guy's behind. I'm just gonna open a space for him and then leave again, and that feels so alien to a lot of people. I think it's just like because there's not exactly direct cooperation in Uprising so much. Like there's a way to trade items and resources, right? That's direct cooperation, but that's not usually what you do. Usually what you do is you send a few of your guys to weaken an enemy, or you open up some spaces for people, or you make sure they get to buy that item that's on the market, or they get to do the quest that's there, and you not just like selfishly steal it from them. So it's more like an anti-selfish game more than
Yeah, so there's a lot of preemptive striking and things like that, where it's just they're going to do awful things to you if I don't do this, so I'll sacrifice some of my folks so they do that. You can have an easy fight afterwards was very much how it felt a lot of the time.
Siri makes a valid point. I'm sure that you and or Dan would play Secret Traitor by accident or on purpose, George.
It's almost like we're typecast.
Not at all.
It's definitely
Not at all.
possible to play a bit of a traitor in Uprising if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I
Sounds
can
like me.
see this turning very nemesis. Oh, I didn't mean to close that door. How did that happen? Yes.
Oh no! Oh dear. So I've got a question for you guys then. So it's been nice talking to you about your game, but I kind of want to talk to you guys about now because we're all gamers here. Okay. What have been your all highlights? Or your favorite board games of 2021? I'm going to start because I actually have got mine prepared on screen. So my game of 2021 has got to have been Evil Core. For anyone who hasn't seen it, the box is probably one of my favorite things about it because it's just so different. Of course, the game's good as well. Hang on a second. When I get it out of my Calyx unit, it's a very unusual shaped box.
Whoa.
Can you make that out?
That looks evil.
Yeah, it is. It is evil.
I haven't seen that one before. And
Yeah.
is the evil box got any kind of purpose, or it's just there to stand out?
It's I think they did it because they could.
They didn't need to worry about packing requirements or efficiency.
And there are the elements of this are just great. I mean, I can show them on screen in a minute. But basically, the game's all about revolutionary CEOs, and it's taken over the world at no matter cost. It's basically corporate ownership and destruction and taking over the world, and it's flipping awesome, and I love it.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. They didn't even do a Kickstarter, did they, George? They literally just produced this game, and it came out of obscurity, out of nowhere, into our inbox, and we just kind of latched onto it, didn't we?
Yes, you did. I've still not actually seen it.
You still not seen it? Sorry. All right. I need to lend
great.
you my copy. I need to lend you my copy.
Perhaps we'll play it over Christmas.
Yeah. Maybe we will. Yeah. But the quality of this game is incredible because even the money in this game is not like your typical Monopoly money where it's just paper and it rips really easily. It's got a nice plastic finish like real money does now. The UK British pounds have all been laminated and they're really hard wearing. You can accidentally wash them and they still survive. Well, this fake money is just like it, and they're all in billions and millions. It's great.
Nice.
So
I'm going to have to add this to my hit list. I like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think you will like it. If I can try and wangle a copy, find the TTS mod because I'm certain they had one. I will point it out to you. But basically, you have world events, you have agencies, and you've basically just got to buy out humanity. It's great, and you can still get copies. It's still available. So if you want to go online and order one, you can. But there's a full review on the website for it, so do check it out. But this is my game of 2021. I absolutely love it. I'm sure Horizon Zero Dawn will replace it, but I haven't actually played it in 2021. And it's on my Christmas list. And I don't know if I'm getting it. I might do. I might not. I don't know. So for the moment, this is my 2021 game. What about
Horizon Zero
yourselves?
Dawn, isn't that the game that's also known as Mini Palooza?
Is it?
Many minis in it.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn is nothing. Is huge mini. Look, I'll take a next stab at something completely different. I don't have them in order only because I really struggle to have a favourite game. I have a, depending on what I feel like, that will change. But a game that I discovered early in the year and fell in love with was Nidavellir. It is so clever. It's one of those games that's really simple, easy to play, easy to teach, and yet there's a lot going on. Have any of you guys played Nidavellir?
I'm trying to find it now. How are you spelling that?
I don't. Oh, now you have to put me on the spot.
It's very difficult to spell. I've seen it. It's very...
Even I'm now quickly having to look at my notes. Nidavellir, where is it here?
It's a bold choice for a game.
I found it.
You found it.
I think.
Nidavellir. So basically, it's a bidding game. So it's based around bidding mechanics, but around that you also got set collection, and it's a constant balancing act of and there's a lot of interaction because it's not because you're bidding. It's not just what do I want, but what do I need to stop other people getting? And because of the set collection element, there are numerous paths to victory in this game. So every game I've played is different. And for me, this has been such a strong point because the very few times I've been able to play games with people, I've really wanted to play games with people. So, as much as, there's so many games that I love, I'm usually more of a Crunchy Euro fan. Games that involve high levels of interaction this year were just higher on the list because we had so little chance. So yeah, that's just one I'll throw out there on the Nidavellir. George or Paul, who wants to go next?
I mean, the only game I've played that was new to me was Rising Sun, and I love that game. We had all the minis, and we had them painted professionally as a test run, basically, and they look so gorgeous. But the mechanics of the game are just so fun. The combat is so crazy. Insane things are happening constantly. You don't really know what's going on if you're playing it for the first time or maybe the second time. There's constantly just huge monsters being plopped on the board that have just crazy abilities. Everyone is constantly backstabbing each other. It's great. I love it so much. There's so much cool stuff going on. The bidding mechanic on the combat is so cool. And the factions at first, they don't seem like they're too different. But once you get into the game, you realize that everyone's ability is insane. Everybody has insane abilities.
Well, just looking at those miniatures, they look really nice.
Yeah, imagine them just being...
want to play list. Go on, man. Go on.
It's so good. It's so good. The minis that we have look so absolutely amazing. The guy who did it just did such a wonderful job. They even have little grass on the standees.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is awesome. Well, I know I can probably guess what George's is. But am I right with going? It's this.
How did you guess? Perhaps because you saw that I couldn't even let you play a demo game with them without taking over your hand at the expo.
Yeah, he did. He literally grabbed the cards out of my hand and goes, yoink! I'll do that.
All right, well, for those who haven't played it, give me the breakdown, George. What makes this game so awesome?
It's a samurai dueling deck builder with minis.
Oh, enough said then. You had me at samurai.
So they've... I'll say that the original concept has just exploded so much through the Kickstarter, and I've actually part of their alpha test group as well for a lot of the stuff now as well. So I'm seeing all the lovely shiny new things and helping them out with it, and it's amazing, and I love it. And the minis are so cool, and there's lots of them. And I may have spent too much money on an all-in box because I wanted all of it, and I wanted all of it, and just I think James and Paul's enthusiasm about the game was just amazing. It's just you can't have a short conversation with them about it.
No,
and
things,
katanas, would you describe it as a cut above?
Ha 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 ha
ha. My work here.
I like your honourable mention.
Sorry, I went into Eddie from bottom there. Sorry.
It's a really cool cool
It
game.
is a good game.
It does play. I think the thing I like about it is it plays so quickly. It's
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
like a lot of the decent sort of deck builders. Once you get into them, they just flow really quickly. And I think for new players, there's a lot to learn. But once you're familiar with it, it's just so fast paced and evil. And I don't think I've had two games which have felt the same. Just like little tweaks of positioning just suddenly make a huge difference. And of course, hexagons are the bestigons, so it uses a hexagonal board as every board should be.
Every board should do, yeah.
Because no unenlightened species would use a square board ever. But yeah, I just absolutely love it. I am definitely going to be stealing the minis back from Chris. From the
I just love that you just
really
let
want to
that
paint them
hang
up.
there, Chris. No one would use square boards. Excuse me, orthogonal movement is still the king at times.
Yeah, I will agree with you there, but I will also back George up on this game. It is a very clever game. That I'm not aware of a miniature-based game with this mechanic. It is an entry-level miniature-based card game. I really haven't come across one. And if anyone there in the comments has, I'd like you to tell me where it is, please, because I genuinely haven't seen one. They got to £1 million backing.
Wow.
Yeah. I say they're just about to launch their pledge manager. So if you are out there and do want to be interested in it, quick follow on Kickstarter. I'm sure the update will be coming shortly. Well, I say shortly after the new year.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's been so many great games. All right, we pay nod to a lot of the games that that we review because there are some stinkers. There are some games that you play and you go, oh, why did I agree to play that? But you do because this is the job we do. And we pride ourselves here at Diary of a Lincoln Geek of being honest reviews. And we'll go, for the right audience, that's a great game. That's a great game for kids and families. That is not a great game for diehard board gamers. And I would say that the great thing with this with Senjutsu is that it is a happy medium.
Reasonably speaking, yeah.
Yeah, well, it is, reasonably speaking. Anyone who's not played a miniature-based card or even a card game could get the concept behind this and play without being too involved in the strategy. And it's your higher level gamer, like George, myself, and you guys here as well. You would appreciate the strategic behind it and the cutthroat elements of building a kick-ass deck that goes along with your miniatures. So
I think it's very important to have those moments where you look at 2 or 3 cards and you go like, oh, if I pick this one, I can do this crazy thing. And I think that's a very important part of any just crunchy board game.
And when you play a high level of skill, I love the accidental combos which you don't plan. So you've got this idea in your head and you suddenly get this magic card. It's like, oh, and you try and keep the poker face, but everyone around you is suddenly just seeing you light up, and there's like, oh, he's got something now.
Yeah,
I've been really annoyed. No, you just think I don't have a poker face.
I would argue that
one?
point with Steph.
Well,
so, what's the next game, Chris? I want to see what's next on your list. I'm intrigued after your opening one.
Sorry?
What was your second favourite, Ben?
Second favourite. Yeah, you started off strong, and now you've got to
Martin is going to absolutely bust a move when I tell him that it is Snapshot.
Battlestar.
No, it's Snapshot from Paperboat Games. Let me find it online. Here you go, Paperboat Games. They recently did their Kickstarter. We met them at UK Games Expo, and they basically introduced this game, which is Snapshot. Snapshot is literally just been printed ready for Christmas. It's going out to people now. It's it's such a clever little concept of game. That's Martin right there. Hook, line, and sinker. This game is flipping awesome. George has backed it. This is the one game. Now, normally, as the Diary of a Lincoln Geek crew, if one of us wants the game, the others don't get it because we're, as a group of people, we'll get together and we'll play the games. Okay, but that didn't stop us with this. George has backed it. I backed it. Steph and Sam backed it. Three or four, four of us out of the DOALG crew have got this game. And in fact, hang on a second. George hasn't got his because I still have the original that was sent to us for a review. And I'm thankful because I'm not going to be able to pick it up before Christmas. It's my fault, George. I'm ever so sorry.
Well, as the new one to the crew, I am not familiar. So again, quick 5-second lowdown. What's the key mechanics?
Go on, George.
It's a push your luck mechanic mostly, and luck mitigation. So you are wildlife photographers going out to get your wildlife. So it's a bit of set collection in terms of your secret goals. It's fastest finger on the shutter to a degree. If the first person to X, depending on number of players, photographs taken will trigger the end game. And if you're lucky, you can actually get that done really quickly and shut other people out. But every time you're doing something, you have rolling dice, and you've got to get a certain amount of results. But you can mitigate the luck of that and how far you go with things by earning research points, and it's really great fun. I know that it's one of my highlight experiences from the expo. Actually, was literally playing the game with Martin at the expo one evening. We just sat down, we had a beer with Martin and played the game, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of a game that is really good for retail. Just to take it back from before. Cute things on top, and then like very kind of simple mechanics overall. Not too complicated. Yeah,
relatable. Yeah. And also what was really nice is that this was their kind of real first experience at Expo, and they nailed the display. It looked great. It drew everyone in, and I think that's another reason why they did so well. And the photography is beautiful on it as well. Ooh, so he wants to know what games we'll all be playing at Christmas. That's a separate topic in a minute.
Yeah,
that's a separate topic in a minute. But I realised we're doing great on time. We can probably squeeze that question in and then probably say that's it.
Yeah. So go on then, Chris. Start us off. What will you be playing at Christmas?
So even if I haven't received my copy of Snapshot, I may play Snapshot, and I will probably definitely, believe it or not, probably play Horizon Zero Dawn.
If you get it.
If I get it. If not, then I think it's going to be probably a nice, simple one, believe it or not. It's not a Christmas film, but my wife and I love it, which is Jurassic Park. No, Jurassic Park. Danger. This is a good game for anyone who hasn't seen it. You basically got to work together to get off the island and to survive being eaten by the dinosaurs.
No,
that sounds great.
Just as it is. It actually is a good game.
I really liked that when we played it with you earlier.
Yeah,
last year. God, how time flies.
Similar element is the Jaws game.
See, I wasn't taken by the Jaws game. Just again, everybody likes different styles. It's like, sometimes you play a game and you just get it, and sometimes you play a game and you struggle. And Jaws for me is, I was playing with a couple of friends of mine who absolutely adored the mechanic and just went like, this is one of their best games. It's Prospero Studios, isn't it? I always get the name wrong. What's the name of the group who published Jaws?
Was it Ravensburger?
No, it's Ravensburger. My apologies.
I think it depends on who's published it in what region.
Oh yeah, but I've
heard Ravensburger here.
They loved it. The people I was playing with, and I just I just didn't get it. I said, oh no, this doesn't feel thematic. No, but you're being eaten by the shark. I'm like, oh.
But that's it, right? Different people like different things. Like
Exactly,
for me
which is-
personally, I cannot stand the randomness in Wingspan, but other people love it. Personally, I hate when my plans just get interrupted by the resources being taken all of a sudden. But that's just
Yes.
different
Yes.
likes, you know.
Yeah, well, this is why being a gamer in this current climate is incredible, because the smorgasbord of board games that are available to people is just phenomenal. George, what are you going to be playing?
I think a lot of that will depend on whether we actually get to meet up with you guys over Christmas or not, depending on what you're all doing with your families. Whilst we're with the families, we're going to take back a couple of little favourites. One which I picked up at Expo, which is Inkling, and the ever favourite Exploding Kittens.
Yeah, the smile on
with the
everyone's
family.
face here that says they all know Exploding Kittens.
Yes, and of course we've got the not safe for work imploding streaking version.
Oh yes.
I think that's the only game that my wife played with me is Exploding Kittens and chess, I think. Also, chess is the one thing I'm probably going to play, and then Terraforming Mars is the other one.
See, now you're talking my
Terraforming
language. I love
Mars.
terraforming. The big box arrived during lockdown. It is still on a shelf of shame because I haven't had people around. I even painted the tiles. Oh, neat.
Shelf of
That one out into the
opportunity.
table.
Shelf of opportunity.
Yeah,
We played the Aris thing yesterday, and I think that's also a good game. It's just not quite the Mars juiciness that I want from a Terraforming Mars game. It's just falls a little
played it
short.
for the first time last week. It was a mixture of the elements of Terraforming Mars meets Race for the Galaxy, and they're both games that I love. And so I kind of got into it. I can see it like using it as a gateway into the heavier, crunchier. But if you haven't played Race for the Galaxy before, it's very alien to try and explain that process of phases to people. But it wasn't a bad game. Did you enjoy it?
I just the timing of the phases is so weird to me, and I like it. I think it's a good game. It's just I think I'd rather just play Mars.
that's very honest of you.
I nearly used
We
the
like
movie quote, but
honesty.
I'm not sure I can say that A word in a family chat. I don't know where we draw a line here, but the "get your A to Mars" is very much the
Yes.
movie quote that's come to mind.
Get your butt to Mars. How about that?
But get your donkey to Mars. Yes. Anyway, I have.
What about you,
So
Julian?
what will you be playing, JL? Yeah.
Look, I'm going to say two games. When it comes to family games, I head up to the north coast of New South Wales, so to go see my parents and take my daughter and my family along. And a game that they all love is Pictures, which is, for those who haven't played it, basically you have to replicate pictures on cards. People have to guess which picture it is that you've made, but it's got nothing to do with your drawing ability, because each round you're given the most insane tools to work with. You have to recreate this picture using these 6 pebbles. You have to recreate this picture using 2 shoelaces. So it's not a game that's about who can draw the best. If you haven't played Pictures, it's well worth playing, and it's certainly one of my family's favourites, so that'll be going up. When it comes to me, there is so much on the, thank you George, shelf of opportunity. I love Dune Imperium. I had the deluxe set come in, and I've even deluxeified my deluxe set because I'm a sucker that way. And I love Dune is my second favorite game. Dune and Arnak are kind of like tied because they're both very similar in style, both kind of deck builder, worker placement. But apart from that, they share nothing else. So Dune Imperium is a game that I certainly want to get out, and I'm hoping if the Christmas fairies have been nice, that the Rise of X expansion was on my Christmas list. So if I'm really lucky, it might be under a tree. So that's my hope.
So is it this one you're on about?
This is the one I'm on about. Absolutely adore this game.
I've never played it. Tell me a little bit about it.
Relatively new.
Yeah, relatively new. It's a 2021 game. I said so. It's a combination of deck builder, worker placement, area control, which I know sounds like a hell of a lot. It's yet not nearly as complex to play as it sounds. As each player, you're playing a member of one of the houses of the Landstrad. I should mention I'm a huge Dune fan in general, so I'll happily go into buzzword bingo here. So you're one of the Landstrad, you're controlling Dune because he controls the spice, controls the universe. You're trying to influence. On the left-hand side, you've got the various guilds. You've got the Spacing Guild. You've got the Bene Gesserit. You're trying to gain influence. In the middle of the board, you've got armies out that cards allow you to play, so you can take ownership and win rewards. It is a victory point game, so basically the first one to pass a certain threshold wins the game. You also then have, as I said, the worker placement. You have 2 workers that you can push out each round, which really limits your options. It's really crunchy. It's incredibly thematic, and highly recommended. And yes, Chris, I know my first review is still overdue. I'll be very careful. He got limited time. Chris has asked me to do a review as I'm joining this crew, and then one thing kept happening after the other, including breakages and so forth, and it never got finished. This will be my second review for the site. It is an absolute glorious game, and that's my Christmas playing.
Ah, fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, look, I'm going to be completely honest here. I could probably sit here for another hour quite happily chatting away with you all. But unfortunately, I think we are going to have to call it for the evening. But it's been an absolute pleasure meeting
Absolutely.
and talking to you for properly for the first time. I know we've been chatting for quite some time on the Discord channel and originally through Twitter, because that's how it still started, wasn't it? That was a while ago now. That was a while ago.
This was definitely fun. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just love talking about board games, just in general.
Yeah. Well, then, that leads us really nicely into the fact that if you guys have been out there watching live, thank you very much for watching. We get a lot of playbacks. So if you want to go check out our lovely Discord server, you're more than welcome to. You can find us by searching for Diary of a Lincoln Geek, or you could just go to our website, which is doalg.co.uk, or just search for Diary of a Lincoln Geek, and that will bring us up to. We've been streaming across all the platforms apart from Instagram. I killed it because, of course, no one could hear it. So we will fix that for next time, guys. I will have speakers so we can do it properly. We've got some great lineups for the new year. We're 6th of January. We're talking with Andrew Coos about his Treasures and Mutiny game. In February, we've got Pencil First Games, and we're talking with Eduardo Baraf. For anyone who knows him, he will know the kind of games that he's developed, and we're going to be able to talk to him about it, which is absolutely phenomenal. Really excited about chatting to him. He's been involved in some very cool projects. If I remember correctly, Cascadia is one of them. But I'm sure someone out there on internet land will tell me I'm wrong. I've got my games mixed up. But either way, and we've also got Chris and Devon from Zebrafish Games, however you pronounce that, coming on in March, talking about some of their print and play projects that they're going to be coming up with, which is also really exciting. So, I'm going to say thank you again. I'm going to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and enjoy your time with your families. It's been an absolute pleasure. Me and my little sidekick are going to say thank you very much. Merry Christmas to all.
Thanks
and
for
all
having me.
Good night.
Good night.
Happy holidays,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holiday. Take care. Stay safe and keep gaming.